You were born to do something great, something magnificent. You were born to do something that will change the world. I believed all of that for nearly 25 years until I made the decision to get a divorce. And that's when I realized it was all a lie. In today's video, we're going to talk about purpose, define what you were born to do, and how you can start doing that thing today. Before I get into how my divorce caused me to question everything about purpose in my life, I want to talk about something, or I want to touch on something that's extremely important. You may be 50 or older. You may be my age. I'm 62. And for the first time in your life, you're realizing that all of those achievements and accomplishments, your big house, your career, your job, just everything that you've done in your life, you're realizing that those things aren't fulfilling to you. They're not as meaningful as you thought they would be when you first started on your journey. You're not satisfied. Those things don't truly represent who you are. You might have been feeling this for a long time and just wasn't aware of it, or you were aware of it and just didn't know what to do. All that matters is that right now you understand that you can't remain in this place in your life. You can't remain in this place of indecision, this place of being stuck, this place of not knowing what to do next. And yes, you may be stuck, but you're not a tree. You can move. And you need to move now. You don't have another decade to spend trying to figure out what to do next. The truth is, you have more days behind you than you have ahead of you. I was married for more than 15 years, and making the decision to get a divorce was the most difficult thing in my life. And it still is the most difficult decision that I've ever had to make. My son and daughter are everything to me. They're the reason why I am where I am today. And the thought of leaving them seemed impossible. I didn't have any grand plans to change the world. I didn't think I was here to do anything magnificent or great. I just believed that my purpose was to raise my kids, but I was wrong about that. And if my purpose wasn't to raise my children, then what was my purpose? What was I supposed to be doing? Seeking the answer to that question put me on a journey to find my purpose. And what I discovered, what I found, annoyed me. It frustrated me. And in some ways, it made me angry because I felt like I had been lied to. It bothered me so much that I decided to write my own book about finding your purpose. And because I didn't want anybody else to have to go through what I went through. And for about a year and a half after writing my book, I attended workshops. I hosted workshops. I visited panels. I gave speeches. I just traveled around and talked about life purpose to anybody who would listen. And the thing that bothered me the most was all that wasted time, all those years that I wasted. Time that I was never going to get back. If you want help finding your purpose, if you want to stop feeling like you're wasting your life or stop being stuck in your life, there's a link in the description below where you can book a one-on-one call with me. One of the things that a divorce does is it forces you to accept and understand that at any moment, your comfortable, stable life can be changed instantly to something that's chaotic and unpredictable. And everybody wants stable and consistent, but that stability and that consistency creates comfort. And comfort is the enemy of change. And if you choose to continue comfort over change, you're going to suffer, and you're going to suffer for a very long time. And you don't want to be over 50, miserable and suffering instead of spending or enjoying the best years of your life, do you? I was certain I would never leave my children, but after 15 years, there I was having made the decision to get a divorce. And that really shook me because that was something that was certain to me. That was something to me that I believed I would never do. And that losing that certainty created a lot of doubt in me. And I began to doubt pretty much everything in life. And looking at my purpose in life, what I believed at the time was my purpose in life, I even began to doubt that and started to wonder, what was I actually supposed to be doing? And since nothing is certain, since nothing is guaranteed, how could I say that I have a purpose? How can anyone say that they have a purpose? The truth is, I don't have a purpose. The truth is, you don't have a purpose. No one has a purpose. You are the most complex, intricate piece of life in the universe. So how could you limit yourself or believe that you are limited to doing one thing in your life? How could you believe that you're born to do just one thing? That makes no sense. Even a tree has more than one purpose. Once you accept that you don't have a purpose, you become infinite. You become a creator. You become a builder. You become an architect. You become an innovator. In some ways, you become a god. After you've accepted that you no longer have a purpose, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look out into the world, into your state, your city, your town, your neighborhood, your street, maybe even in your own house. And I want you to identify 2 or 3 things that really annoy you, really make you angry, really frustrate you. And I want you to write those 2 or 3 things down. You see, all your life you've been hearing the term or the phrase, your passion will lead you to your purpose. And that's a way, but it's not the way. As my grandmother would say, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. You can create from what you dislike just as much as you can from something that you like. Here's an example. In 1969, Donald and Doris Fisher founded The Gap, and they created it, or primarily Donald created or founded The Gap because he got tired of going into stores to buy jeans and he never could find jeans to fit him. So his frustration is what created a multi-billion-dollar business, not his passion. And Donald Fisher is just one example of someone creating a business or a change in their life or a change in the world based on something that frustrates them. So write down those 2 to 3 things that really annoy you, that really frustrate you, and pick one of those. And if you really can't decide, because all of them might frustrate you, pick the one that you can begin working on immediately. Something that is out of the 3 is the most simplest for you to begin to work on. And what this does is it allows you to be proactive about your life, to create your life instead of waiting to find a purpose. You're creating a life of purpose. And there's no right or wrong answer, and there's no best answer. We don't want to overthink this. Just keep it simple. You're stuck, afraid, and wondering if you're wasting your life. And if you're not actively pursuing something that excites you, that energizes you, as my grandmother says, gives you a reason to get up in the morning and get dressed and walk out that door, then you are wasting your life. For a moment, I want you to imagine what an exciting, energizing, intentional life looks like for you. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What kind of person do you have to become to begin to live that kind of life? In 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year from now, that time is going to pass anyway. Will you still be where you are now, stuck, lost, feeling unfulfilled? Or will you be living that exciting, intentional life that you really want? And when you stop looking for a purpose and stop finding a purpose, that's how you create the life that's exciting, that's intentional, because you take the responsibility of your own life into your own hands and you create something that's for you. and it's by you. It took a divorce for me to realize that I don't have a purpose. And now you understand you also don't have a purpose. And that you can take your frustration and you can build a life of purpose instead of waiting around trying to find a purpose. And if you're tired of wasting your life, if you're tired of finding a purpose, click on the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.